Shalom, brothers and sisters. Shalom, people. Even if you are not my brother and not my sister. For those of you that don't know me, you may know me by different names. You may know me by Oliver. You may know me by Oliver Jr. You may know me by Junior. You may know me by Avi. You may know me by Juggy. You may know me as Mr. Peabody, Ali, Ross Ali. You may know me by many different names, all right? And I answer all those names. So Perez, Paraza, whatever name you know me by, I'll answer to you. However, today I'm coming to you as an elder and a judge of the departments of the House of Israel, as well as the departments of the diaspora of Mashara Yasharallah, which is the government of Israel in exile and in diaspora. I am a man of 51 years on this planet Earth that the Most High Yahweh has allowed me to have. And I come to you with a very serious topic or subject which pertains to the Bible. Is the Bible nutrients or just fake garbage? What is the Bible? Now, we have to begin with a basic understanding, and the understanding is this, that the Bible is a book of much mystery, intrigue, doubt, and inspiration. It is probably the most debatable and the most widely distributed book in history. All right. It is in whole, or it is in part, the immediate inspiration of Judaism, whether Orthodox or Reform, Christianity, whether Protestant or Catholic, as well as Islam, whether Sunni or Shiite. Now, when we're dealing with the Bible, specific data was entered into the books that we call the Bible with, admittedly, human error. But older copies of the Bible and the source text of the Bible are more consistent and more trusted copies of the original text, the original scriptural books, the original chapters and verses of the Bible. Now, in the ancient times of the children of Israel, we had prophets, and we had problems, and we had big issues to fix. Now, we refuse to fix those problems. So we have been discontinued at this point in time from our own transmission of the Mikra, which is the Bible. And we have severed, we've cut off our spiritual two-way communication that we had with the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob collectively as a nation. Most of our biblical knowledge that we have right now came down to us from Gentiles after slavery. So, of course, people would question the validity of the Bible. Now, the Bible was written and conveyed by a high level of spiritual men, and women were involved in the process also. The Bible was not conveyed by brainwashed, wicked slave masters or their slaves. Yet we expect to pick up the Bible and to do what? Learn the secrets of the Bible that are written between the lines? Is that what we really expect? What do we expect to levitate? Do we expect to get a high level of spiritual evolution using the Bible? Now, the Bible, was meant to be conveyed and taught by high level spiritual men. The book of Eli itself shows us the contrast, the movie, The Book of Eli, the contrast in the use and expectation of the Bible, all right? The Bible had sections of it ripped out at various points throughout history. And the Bible has also been the source of many hymns and many expectations and hopes of freedom from white people on one side misusing the Bible, and from black people on the other side who can look at the Bible and see the inspiration and see the expectations of freedom and hope that they read about in the pages of the Bible itself. So now other ethnic groups and religious groups and other people began to use the Bible and manipulate and change the text of the Bible and make changes in the text. Now this happened from Ankylos and the people in the 1st and 2nd century AD, all the way down to German Martin Luther. Now, when we read inside of the Bible itself, when you read carefully, you see that there is no such thing in the Bible as messianic or non-messianic. There's no such thing as Baptist or non-denominational. There's no such thing as Orthodox or mainstream Judaism. There's no such thing as Catholic, Muslim in the Bible. These terms are very divisive, and these terms are not existent in the Bible. Okay? So now, ultimately, all right, the overall prophecies of the Bible, even though the Gentiles got their hands on the Bible, ultimately, the overall prophetic nature and impact of the Bible, the historical accuracy of the Bible, the foretelling of the experiences of the blacks and the indigenous peoples of the Americas that we see in the Bible are unparalleled in any other book in history, in any religion, any path, or any source whatsoever. Nothing compares to the Bible. The fullness, the detail, and the accuracy of the Bible traces our people quite easily from about 1446 BC as a nation all the way up to 1776 AD and beyond. And it does so with an amazingly and absolutely astounding accuracy. It's absolutely astounding. So we, the Israelites, which are the so-called blacks, Latinos, Native American, and indigenous peoples of the America, we in particular are the genetic link between the biblical history, the Bible itself, as well as the genetic link to the Creator and what he told us in that book. So we as a people, we must amass and use, all right? We must have the resources as well as the discernment to do what? To analyze the books of the Bible, to analyze the chapters, and to analyze the verses, and thereby make conclusive empirical decisions about these verses in the scriptures. Now, the concept, the meaning, and the conclusion, all right, of the Bible are true and truth. Whether this mistake happened deliberately or accidental, man himself has introduced textual variants. They have introduced things in different Bibles and different parts of the Bible that are not in harmony with each other. Okay? But through all of these accurate portrayals of the Bible, we still have unparalleled prophecies within the Bible that cannot be disputed, i.e. the Statue of Liberty, the United Nations, Black and indigenous slavery, Alexander the Greek, okay, the Roman Empire. All of these things are vividly, okay, They are vividly and undeniably prophesied in the Bible. So no, the Bible is not garbage. The Bible is healthy spiritual nutrients. Healthy spiritual nutrients. Okay? So these things these prophecies are vividly recorded in the Bible. Okay? Now, and in conclusion, the next time somebody tries to cast doubt about the Bible or disrespect about the Bible, you just end the discussion bearing these prophecies in mind. End the discussion with a very simple and direct question that will likely end the whole conversation. Do you have an ancient source with prophecies as accurate as we find in the Bible? Even if they say, well, those prophecies are subjective, great. Find me another book that has subjective prophecies like we see inside the Bible. Statue of Liberty, indigenous and African black slavery, the United Nations building, the Roman Empire, Alexander the Great, the fall of the Babylonian Empire, the fall of the Persian Mede Empire, the fall of the Greek Empire, the fall of the Roman Empire. Do you have any other books available if you don't believe in the Bible, if you want to cast doubt about the Bible? Do you have any other books on the planet Earth that can give you any measure of accurate historical depictions based on prophecies as we have in the Bible? And the answer is going to be no. The answer will be no. So instead of our people who made songs throughout slavery based on the Bible, who had hopes that were realized and dreams that were realized, expectations that were realized about freedom from slavery that were rooted in the spiritual genealogy of most global music that we can see depicted from old Negro spirituals. In order to understand the depths of your genetic relationship with the Bible, you must understand the relationship that your ancestors had with the Bible before the Civil Rights Movement, before Jim Crow, even before slavery. You must understand the prophecies that were inside of the Bible that gave a blueprint and a template to your history before these things even occurred. You must understand that the UN is prophesied in the Bible. You must understand that Alexander the Great is prophesied in the Bible. You must understand that the Greek and Roman empires are prophesied in the Bible. And you must understand that America itself is prophesied in the Bible. So what other book can we go to and see the accuracy of two-way communication between the Creator and his people and mankind with accurate portrayals, accurate depictions, accurate models of government and life itself than we can see inside of the Bible? The problem is that Gentile people, non-Israelite people, people that were not Black, people that were not Hispanic or indigenous, who are the ancient Israelites, they began to use the Bible as a tool of social control and social engineering. And this is vividly portrayed when we look at the book of Eli, the movie, The Book of Eli. And we see in the Bible that Denzel Washington had committed to memory all of the effects, all of the contents of the Bible. And the white man in the Bible, in the movie, he wanted to use the Bible to control and to manipulate the people. And this is the same thing that's going on in real life outside of the movie. And it's been going on since day one that the Bible was given to us. Black people manipulated the Bible beginning in about the 1st century BC, changing contents in the Bible, particularly in Genesis chapter 5 and in Genesis chapter 11 to offset biblical prophecies. And then white people manipulated the Bible, changing aspects of the Bible to manipulate and to control the minds of the people to believe in doctrines which were not in the original Bibles. But the Bible itself is true. The prophecies in the Bible are true. And that's why, we see a lot of people now wanting to cast spells, wanting to do black girl magical potions. We see a lot of people wanting to do so many crazy things that didn't get us out of slavery, didn't get us out of captivity, all right? And that have no spiritual foundation, history, no empirical data. The Bible is literally filled with empirical data that self-authenticates and self-validates its own accuracy. But a lot of people don't know these things because they go outside of the spectrum of mainstream Christianity. All right? All of the Christian denominations that were established by other people are false. Baptist, Pentecostal, apostolic, non-denominational, if you consider that to be a specific denomination. Protestant denominations, Jehovah's Witnesses, Mormons. Okay, all of these denominations had a founder and they had an agenda. We as Israelites, we just use the Bible, and we are the Israelites prophesied and spoken of from the book of Genesis. Even if you go all the way into the book of Revelation, which is an accurate book, it's an accurate book because it accurately prophesies the rise of America, the rise of the 7 major European empires, and the construction and the purpose and the ideals, not ideas, but the ideals behind the Statue of Liberty, vividly expressed in the book of Revelation, chapter 17. So how can I not believe in that book? If it's telling world history from the Greeks and the Romans all the way up into the Russians coming together in America to form an 8th head. And that the woman is going to sit on many waters, and that the waters represented many people. And as she says on the monument of the Statue of Liberty, she says, "Give me your tired, your huddled masses, you're hungry." And we see this also in the book of Habakkuk. She heaps unto herself all peoples. So the Bible is a true book. So don't disbelieve the Bible. The problem that people have with the Bible is the contents for moral living, the prohibitions against homosexuality, the portrayal of biblical cultural polygyny, the prohibition against eating pork, shrimp, lobster, and crab. You cannot deny the empirical value and accuracy of the Bible. Therefore, you must also accept the moral and spiritual guidelines that are taught, nay, rather commanded in the Bible by the Almighty. So the next time you see these hour-long videos about the Bible is wrong because of this and that and third, and it has inaccuracies and contradictions, yes, there's no denying that it has contradictions and inaccuracies in the Bible itself compared to itself, yes. But that doesn't make the Bible an inaccurate book when it comes to the moral, when it comes to the purpose of the book itself. It's still an accurate book itself. It is the transmission. You remember, the Bible itself, as we know it, has been around, floating around in men's hands for 3,000 years. And most of that time, our people spent in rebellion against our God. And to be quite honest with you, he left us to our own devices. So we should be grateful for the accuracy of the Bible that we do have. But nonetheless, we as an Israelite people, we owe it to ourselves to have the resources and the discernment to analyze the books, chapters, and verses of the Bible and make empirical conclusions, not just subjective or religious conclusions, but empirical conclusions based on the data that presents itself, that we present to review. And that's what must be done. So the meaning and the concept and the conclusions of the Bible are true and truth. And again, people deliberately or inadvertently introduce textual errors into the Bible. But those textual errors do not offset or do not invalidate the prophetic nature of the Bible. Therefore, you must obey the commands and the commandments that are given to us in the Bible, whether you understand or see the textual variance or not. You still understand, don't sleep with the wife of another man. You still understand, do not engage in homosexuality. You still understand, do not engage in intimate sexual relations with an animal. You still understand that beef is good, chicken is good, but pork, lobster, crab are bad. We know scientifically that these bodies of creatures hold toxins and do not release the toxins that enter into their bodies. Sometimes some of them even hold worms. Beef does not. Cow is herbivore. For the most part, he will eat a bug if it's on the leaf, but he doesn't go hunt for bugs. The chicken will eat its young. The chicken will eat a mouse, parts of a mouse or parts of a snake, if it's in a situation to defend itself. And guess what? Piranha has scales and fins. It's a kosher fish, but it will also eat a crab. A piranha will eat a human being. But that nature of the piranha does not make it an unlawful animal to eat. It's still a lawful animal to eat. Even though it does eat piranha will eat pork. And when you're fishing, the fish that you get, the perch, the whiting, the crappie, guess what? Those animals will eat bugs. Those animals will eat worms. Those animals will eat meat. But those animals are still kosher. So the moral guidelines of the Bible and the prophetic nature of the Bible, that is the strength. That is the strength of the Bible, okay? The strength of the Bible is not whether the king was 8 or 18 when he became the king. That's not the strength of the Bible. That's clearly a textual variant that was introduced erroneously through a scribe. That it's obvious. Okay? So you have to embrace your culture, your heritage, and your moral guidelines that are presented to you in the Bible. And you have to abide by that. You have to walk in that nature. You have to. You have no other you have no other option. Not righteous option. You have an option, if you don't want to live righteously, but if you want to live righteously according to the Bible, you have no other choice but to live by what it says. So the next time somebody wants to ask you, hey, the Bible's not false. The Bible's not true because it has this variant, and it says this over here. Okay, well, you know what? Let me ask you a question. Yes, I agree with you. That part is not true because it's a contradiction. So let me ask you a question. And the question is, do you have any other ancient source of prophecies as accurate as the Bible? Answer is going to be no. There's no other source of prophecy that even proves the existence of a supernatural higher power constantly through thousands of years of intervention, giving you what's going to happen before it happens. Based on that alone, the Bible should be the only book that we should be looking to. Even if somebody shows you, oh, well, over here, and I know all about, not all about, but I know about the nature of the textual variants in the Bible, but I know about the prophecies in the Bible. I know that the Bible gives you, and the Bible describes the transatlantic slave trade to a T. The Bible described the breaking up of the families of the slaves to a T. The Bible describes the removing of the heritage and culture of the Israelites to a T. And the reason I look at the transatlantic slave trade and focus on that is because the deliverance of the children of Israel is given in two parts. One is general, from all the places we were scattered, and the other is specifically talking about the land of the north, which is North America. When we go and look at our people that are Israelites that are Igbo, they still speak an ancient language. When we look at our brothers and sisters that are Zulu, the Israelites, they still speak an ancient language. When we look at our brothers and sisters that are Limba, they still speak an ancient language. When we look at the slaves that were brought into D.C., Maryland, Virginia, North Carolina, South Carolina, Georgia, Florida, Alabama, Mississippi, Louisiana, Arkansas, and later Texas, the language was taken away, with a few exceptions, being primarily and notably the Gullah Gullah people, Geechee, so-called Geechee people in Georgia, South and North Carolina. They still speak an ancient variant, of English and other languages that were kind of creolized together. But the Bible prophesies and speaks about that people losing their cultural identity, losing their genealogy, their records of where they came from, and being able to trace it back. It talks about iron being put upon their necks. It talks about a ship being used to transport them. It talks about serving their enemies when they're hungry, thirsty, and naked. It talks about them having yokes of iron put upon their necks. And it talks about their sons and daughters being taken from them and sold to another people. And it says that the nation that does this is going to use the eagle as their symbol. This is all Deuteronomy chapter 28. So if there's anybody out there that can dispute the prophecies in the Bible, that can dispute Daniel's prophecies about the Babylonian Empire, the Persian Mede Empire, about the Greco-Roman Empire, about Alexander the Great, that can dispute the prophecies we see about the seven-headed beast with 7 heads and 10 horns, they haven't come forth. All right, and the basic truth is that I have grown very irritated and tired of people that want to question the validity of the Bible, but they never have an explanation about the accurate prophecies of the Bible. Not only that, they can never present an accurate alternative source that's better than the Bible in the presentation of prophecies and history with accuracy. So do you have another ancient source with prophecies as accurate as the Bible? For all the criticism the Bible wants to, that people can offer against the Bible, and sometimes, to be honest, quite truthfully, quite accurately, this criticism is presented. Because the Bible is not a perfectly transmitted book. The people of the Bible were taken away from their ancient region, and the Bible was put into the hands of deceitful, wicked people. So I'm thankful and grateful for what I do have about the Bible. I'm grateful and thankful about what I do understand about the Bible, what I can prove to be true in the Bible, using sociological presentations, using census data, and using easily available historical data for the Bible. So other than that, the Bible is accurate. The history of the prophecies are accurate. The description it gives about the rise and fall of many empires is accurate. So don't fall for the okie doke of, oh, we're not going to believe in the Bible because we have contradictions here. And this person said the wrong person's name over there. Okay, that happens. But again, you're dealing with a book that's technically the source and the origin of the writing of the Bible. It's 3,500 years old. So, and it's been in the hands of man. In the hands of man for how many years? Mortal man, transmitted and conveyed to man by the Almighty, and then man took it. And man has not done a bad job of maintaining the textual integrity of the job, of the Bible, but it's not a perfect transmission. It's not a perfect transmission with 100% textual integrity of the Bible over 3,500 years. I mean, early in the history of our people, when we left from slavery, when we left from freedom and we went to slavery in Babylon, Ezra, the Most High talked to Ezra, and Ezra, they had a conversation about how the Bible had been burned. The Torah had been burned. But then Ezra was revealed the Torah again. And then we see the Greeks took it away in the time of the Maccabees in about 165 BC. We see that they took the Bible away again. And we recovered it back. And that's been happening all throughout history. So when we finally fell as a nation in about 70 AD, the Bible was taken out of our hands and it was put into the hands of people that didn't have the same level of respect that we had, of application that we had for the Bible. So yes, some corrupted verses and words are found in the Bible. But that's not the Most High's fault. It's our fault. We allowed the Bible to be taken from us because of our own wickedness. Now we have to research, study, and restore the accurate text of the Bible with the best resources that we have available, as opposed to just believing everybody that's making a video saying the Bible is wrong. All right, so I thank all of you for listening. I don't want to start rambling. Thank you. Thakozani, brother. All right. Brother L, thank you. Diana, thank you. Falan, thank you for your attention. Shara, all right. Thank you for your attention. All right. Abayel, Banyasharala, thank you for your attention. The others that are watching that I cannot see, thank you for your attention in this short video of 32 minutes. I wish I could have made it shorter. I apologize. But honestly, you'll get the first 10, 12 minutes really go into the meat of the matter. Thank you and shalom.